Hello again, friends. It's Sharon from Mad Paper Crush here. Today I'm doing a unboxing of the Your Creative Studios subscription box, and we'll be making a little craft with it as well. So this is the box for January, I believe. So let's take a look at what's inside here. So first I'm just going to kind of go through the whole box so we can see everything that's there, and then we'll start our project. So I love these little cards. They're so cute. And everything's always wrapped so nice. And I think, well, let's see if I can get it to stay open. I don't know if I will. Maybe I'll just put this aside like this and I'll just pull things out. Okay. So first thing we have here are some, looks like flower stamps. So those are so cute. And these are probably stickers, I would imagine. I love these. Are so fast and easy to just pop onto, a collage or a journal page or something like that. And then we have a package of clear leaves. These kind of look like eucalyptus leaves, I believe. So those are fun. And these are stamps, acrylic block stamps. And look at that. This is a whole garden theme here of all those little tools and things. That's fun. Let's see what we got here. This is a wood stamp, and it's kind of hard to see on the stamp itself, but it's like a little wagon with some flowers in there. Very cool. Oh, you can see it better on there. Look at that. That's fun. And then looks like there's another stamp in here, another wood stamp. And this one has a little jug with some flowers. That's really pretty too. I like that. All right, let's see. This is some washi tape. And looks like there's a little perfume bottles on here. All kinds of different perfume bottles. And they kind of look like, oh, it's like a little stamp roll. You can kind of see that it has perforations in between each one. So you could probably just tear them off. That's really cute. I love that. And let's see what we got here. This is branches and flowers. And it looks like I'm not sure if that's real, but it looks like there's some dried flowers in there, as well as some other little papers and stuff. Let's see if we can just open this up and check out what all's in here, since there might be more than just those flowers. I'm going to try to leave those in there because I don't know if I'll be able to get them back in. I don't want to wreck them. I think those are real. That's really cool. Right. All right. I think I'm going to have to take them all out. So we got some, looks like these are stickers. There's some decorative stickers. And here's something that I can't read because my eyesight is bad. I can't read it. I have to get my glasses, and I don't have them right now. Then we have this really cool dried flower here. And then some, I love these kind of see-through stamps and things that you can put on. And these all feel like stickers. They feel like they have a backing on them. Those do. These are not stickers. Look at that. Those are fun. Little papers. These are adorable. These kind of look like those, the shape of those glass. I'm not even sure what you call them. Flower library. That's fun. So a bunch of little bits of ephemera here. Some more stickers. Some round things. Round pieces of paper. These are all really good to just be able to put like right on something. I love that. A couple of these little flowers fell off. I'm just going to leave this right here so I don't want to mess it up more of trying to get it back in while we're chatting here. All right, my next one here looks like some more garden implements with flowers on everything, and some little gnomes and a wheelbarrow, a garden hose. All kinds of goodies there. And then some, this looks like probably, yeah, sticky note pad. So these are fun. that you can just, it's a whole pad of paper, and they're sticky notes. So I could use those in my journal or even outside of my journal. Those are so pretty. All right, let's see. And we got more garden gnomes. Actually, this all looks like it could be pieces of this just in, you know, paper ephemera here. It says paper ephemera there. So I doubt these are stickers. These are probably just little pieces that I could stick on, you know, with glue or something. Let's not take out the biggest ones. Oops, these are all pretty big. Oh yeah. And these are kind of hard. These are like cardstock, so that's really nice. Those are really pretty. I like the bigger pieces. Maybe because my eyesight isn't that great. All right, we got more paper ephemera. So a lot of times she includes a bunch of different sort of background papers. So that's kind of what these are. So there's some transparent ones. So like, looks like maybe printed on vellum or something. Look at that snail. Isn't he cute? I like that. And there's our little Nomi. More garden tools. And then ones that aren't transparent that are just on paper. And these are on lighter paper, so they could, you know, go inside a journal, or even be, you could put them on other paper to make a note card or something like that. Let's see. Oh, and we also have one piece. Now this, I'm not sure. It feels very light. It might be like a napkin maybe. Let's see. There's no label on it. So let's take it apart and see what it is. Ooh, yes, it's not a napkin, but it feels like tissue paper. And I think I'm going to pull them all out because I don't want them to get stuck on that glue, on the envelope glue. Yes, this is like tissue paper. Ooh, that's really cool. I like that a lot. So we got lots of matching things here. So we could make something with a lot of this stuff. All right, so that's what's in the box. Let's go ahead and start to make our project. All right, this is the project that we're going to make, and it is this fun little flip book that has all sorts of pockets and tucks in it using the pieces from the subscription box. And I'm just going to kind of walk you through it real quick so you can see what we're going to do. Here it is all together. The base is made from one 12 by 12 piece of scrapbook paper, which we'll go into when we do the tutorial. But it has this little flip closure here. So when you open that up, that's how you can start to open things up. But the front here even has this little tag in a vellum pocket right here. And we have some stamping on there. That's so much fun. And then when you open it up, you can turn your flap back around and it actually becomes a nice little decoration for this piece here. So I like that it's sort of, you know, multifaceted there. And then on this side, we have another little vellum pocket with a little tag that I made with some more pieces from the kit. And then on this side, we have lots of pockets. So this pocket, we have just a little tag in there. And on this side, in this pocket, we have a little sticker for writing notes or something like that. We have just a little note card in there from one of the papers that was in the box. And I love this little garden hose decoration. You can see I made it stick up above the pocket there just to add a little interest. I thought that was fun. And then in the middle, we have a little gatefold opening. So you can see this opens like this, and there is another pocket in here with another note card in there so that you can add more things to it. And when this closes, it closes down together, and you can see these cute little cardboard pieces right on there. And then on the back, so I always close the wrong one first, but close this down. Whoops, I can use my hands correctly. So there's our front, but then even on the back, there's another big pocket on the back that you can put another note card or something like that in. And I used this little cardboard shovel kind of in the same way. I kind of had it stick up above above the pocket, just to add a little bit of interest there for that right there. And then the other thing, actually, let me just grab this out of here. So the other thing that I didn't add anything to, just because I didn't really want anything sticking out of the pocket, is we made a big pocket in the back behind this whole gatefold piece. So if you wanted to put even more things in this, there is a pocket up here for you to do that. But as I was kind of going through, I decided that I didn't really want something sticking out of that pocket in the back. I felt like there was kind of enough going on, enough going on here. So I'm just going to leave that one blank, but who knows, maybe as I decide to send it, maybe I will put something in it. So let's go ahead and get started and make this cute little flip book. All right, to start our project, I'm going to be making the base of our album, our little flip book, from 2 pieces of scrapbook paper, 12 by 12 scrapbook paper that I have. So I've been trying to use up some of my supplies. I have so much, 12 by 12 paper, and I thought this would be a good start. Now, mine is not double-sided, so I just added some stencil distress ink here, and I also added it to the bottom of this one because I'll be using this for something as well. So this is what I'm starting with. The one that has my pattern all over the back is the one we're going to use as the main base here. And you can see I tried to use colors that matched, what came in the kit. So I'm going to just grab a stylus here, and we're going to start. If you have a right side up, I kind of prefer that you don't have a right side up, because as we're going to be folding things, there are going to be some things that are upside down. So, it's totally up to you. If that doesn't bother you, that's fine. But just so you know, I'm just going to be using these patterns so that I don't have anything that's really upside down or noticeably upside down. So I'm just going to kind of pick, I don't know which way I want it to go. And I'm thinking that this part with a little bit of decoration will be one of the top sides of my pockets, and this will be the bottom side. So I kind of want this middle part, open. That'll be the base, the folding base. So that's how I'm doing it. Okay. So when you have your paper the way you want it, you're going to score it at 3 inches and then again at 8 inches. Now this base design came from, it was inspired by Pink Strawberries, and I will put her video in the description down below. I just thought this was cute, and it worked perfect with all this kind of stuff, and it makes this little vintage folio. So after you've made your 3-inch and 8-inch marks here, you're going to take your paper and turn it clockwise 90 degrees, and then we're going to score it at 4 inches and then at 9 inches. Okay, so then you have sort of this grid here, and I can put this away for now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make some cuts. Now, I'm not sure which side you can see better on the camera here. I'm going to cut them with a craft knife and a ruler. You can use whatever you're comfortable with. And basically what I'm going to do is, when I have it in the orientation that I want, so I'm going to make sure that I have, so this was my 3 and 8, and this was my, oh no, that was not it. This was my 4, I don't know. I think I'm going to do it this way. So this is kind of the way I want it. I'm going to cut just this line, this line, this line, and this line. So 4 lines from the top and bottom edges up to the first line on each one. So let me kind of show you what I mean. And the way I like to do it is I kind of like to cut out this score that I made. So we're going to, it's actually going to be bigger than just one cut, because I don't want my folds to kind of get in the way of each other. So I'm going to make one score line and then go like maybe a 1/16 of an inch and make a second score line so that my actual cut leaves this little gap. And I'm doing that so that when I start to fold things, it won't kind of be on top of each other. So I'm just going to do that on these 2. And it's not exact. Well, I'm never exact, I don't think. And then I'm going to flip this all the way around, and we're going to do the same thing over here. So I'm going to try and find the left side of that score mark I made and go all the way up to the first line and then cut out the second one. That was pretty good. Sometimes it's hard for me to see the way my lights are. Sometimes I get a shadow. So it's hard to tell if that was the score line I'm lining it up at, or, you know, where exactly I'm lining things up. So there we go. So now we have our 4 cuts. So now we need to make these folds, and you can decide, you know, which side you want to be your outside or your inside. I am going to fold these because I like the way these little decorative things are here, like that. So I'm going to fold the outside flaps that we made from all those 4 cuts first in one direction. So you can see this is how we're going to flip here. And then the inside flaps, I'm going to fold the other direction for our pocket that I want to put on the back. Okay. So, and I might get out my bone folder and just kind of fold these down a little to make sure they're nice and creased. Okay, so then after that, we can do our side folds. So we have our one flap here, and then our other flap, just like that. All right, and so our base is basically done. So now to add some nice touches, I'm going to go around on all of my corners, and I'm going to just give them a rounding. So I'm just going to go around every single one. If I open this back up, on each of my flaps, and make sure I have a nice rounded corner. Okay, now I'm going to kind of fold it all back up here again. Oops. All right, and we're going to do our pockets. Now, you'll notice that you have one long flap and one short flap. So the short flap is going to be our pocket, because if we made this the pocket, we wouldn't have much room to kind of put things into those pockets. So make sure you have your short pockets on the bottom, your short flaps on the bottom, because that's where our pockets are going to go. And I'm also going to add a little notch in each of these, but that's entirely optional. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. And I'm just eyeballing the center there. And then for this one, I am also going to do a notch, but because this is a big one, I'm going to grab my 2-inch hole punch instead of my 1-inch and make a little bigger notch in that back one there. Okay. So that is all the pockets, and we can go ahead and start gluing those down. So to glue these pockets, I'm just going to glue each side of the pocket, since our bottom is already, you know, attached. So just one strip on each side, and then I'll hold that down for just a second to let it grab, although art glitter glue, which is what I'm using, seems to grab pretty fast, which I like for these kinds of projects. All right, now we have our inside pockets done. I'm going to flip that over, and that should keep them down too. And we'll do our outside pocket here as well. And get that glued down. Make sure I don't have any glue around. Okay. So now we have, you can see we have these pockets here all ready to go. All right, we're going to finish building the base, and then we'll do some decorating. So the next thing I want to do is I want to grab my other piece of paper, and we're going to make the center gatefold piece here. So what I want to do is make sure, I mean, I only put distress on a part of this, so I have to make sure I'm using the right sides here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my pencil, and I want to cut this just a teeny tiny bit smaller than this center piece. So I'm just lining it up here so I know how tall to do it. Based on our measurements, I think this is going to be about actually that's about 5 inches, it looks like, high. 5 inches high. And I might actually do it a little bit lower, just because I'm going to make a big pocket in the back, and I think I want a little more room. So if that was 5 inches, I think I'm going to take this down to 4 3/4 about. And then what I want to do is I want to do double the size of the middle, or almost double the size of the middle. So I'm just going to mark where I think that is, or I'm sorry, I'm just going to mark the one time the middle there, so I know how to double it. So if I look at that mark, that is about 4 and looks like almost 7/8 of an inch. So if I take that back to 4 3/4, we should have 9 1/2 inches long. That'll give me a good start here. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that down. Once again, making, whoops, that's not my cutter. My glue's falling over. Okay, so let me make sure I have the right side here. This one, we said we wanted it to be about 4 3/4 tall. Move that out of the way. And then for our length, we want it to be 9 1/2. So I am going to be cutting off some of this decoration. If that bothers you, you can cut in from, you know, each side so that you have the same amount. But it doesn't bother me how that, because we're going to have some decoration in there and it's not going to show. So I'm going to cut this little piece off, but we'll hang on to that. We might use that for part of our decoration. Okay, so now we have this piece, which if I folded it in half would be a double. But because we're doing a gatefold, now this is where your math comes in. So this is 9 1/2. So I'm going to just mention what the middle is. So I don't want to score at the middle, but I'm just going to kind of have my eyeballs on what the middle is. So half of 9 1/2 would be 4 3/4, which is what we said. Okay, so that's our middle point where we're going to be, you know, just kind of keeping in mind. I don't want to mark anything there. But now what I have to do, now that I know how far the middle is, which is 4 3/4, I believe is what I said. Yes, 4 3/4. Now we have to do half of that. So I'm just going to count. I'm not actually going to try and do the math, even though my degree is math. So this is 4 inches. Half of that is 2 inches. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eighths of an inch here. 6 of these little notches up to my 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to take half of that, which is 3. So I know it's going to be 2 3/8 is half of 4 3/4. Okay. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to mark that in from either side. So I'm going to come in 2 and 1, 2, 3, and that one I'm going to mark. And I'm just going to spin it around to make it easier to measure from. So 2 and 1, 2, 3/8 is my other one, my other fold there. So now, once again, you can decide, you know, which side you want to be your outside or your inside. If you want the green to show mostly, you can do it this way. Which I think I might do that because I kind of like the contrast between these two colors. And then so you can see I definitely made it a little bit lower here, and I wanted to do that so it's obvious that, you know, there might be something up here, which there will be. And then because we did half of the center amount, we have a little gatefold here, so you can see that here, and I like that too. And then you can, you know, decide which way you want if you don't have an up and down here. Okay, so now I'm just going to pull that apart. I'm going to grab my corner rounder again, and once again, we'll make sure all of these corners on my little gatefold piece here have nice rounded edges. And we'll go ahead and do the gatefold decoration first, since we kind of have it out here and together. So what you need to do is you need to pick 2 pieces, and I chose these cardstock type pieces because I thought that they were nice and sturdy, which is what I wanted. So you can pick 2 of them, because for a gatefold we need to have something secured on either side. And I think this looks nice. Let me just see if there's anything else that might be fun here to add in. I do like the boots, which I had on my other one that I made. Yeah, so I think, well, let's go with the gardening gloves and the bucket. I think that's a good start here. All right, so what we're going to do is to make this the gatefold, and this will kind of help hold it together. It's not going to be a perfect, closure, but it's going to hold everything together, which is nice. Okay, so what you're going to do is for each piece, you're going to flip it upside down, okay? And you're going to put glue on one side. Now, when we do the other piece, whatever side you've glued up here, we want to do the other side. So for example, my top piece, I'm going to glue on the left side. So I flipped it over 180 degrees vertical. Don't flip it horizontal because that'll kind of get you messed up. But then if you just put some glue on the one side here, and I'm just measuring it based on my, I'm going to move that out of the way for a second, based on where I can see my fold here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it right side up again. I'm going to open that side that I want to glue it on, and I'm just going to gently put that on there, and then just make sure that I have that just about centered or where I want it there. Make sure there's no glue coming out because you'll glue it together. We don't want to do that. So you can see this then is glued on the left-hand side. Now when we glue this one, we want to glue it on the right-hand side. So once again, I'm going to flip it 180 degrees vertical so I can kind of see where I want to put my glue. And then I'm going to do the right side this time. I'm going to try not to put so much glue. I think I squeezed way too much glue on the other piece. Okay, so now we'll do the same thing, except I'm going to open up my other side. And I kind of have to make sure I'm, low enough here that I'm not going to be in the way of the other one. I don't want them to overlap or hit each other. And now, whoops, you can see I got lots of glue there. Let me just kind of wipe that off because I did slide it a little, which I shouldn't have done. And then I'll make sure I don't have any glue on the inside. Okay, so now you see I have my attachments on either side, and then when you close it, you kind of have to close them together so that both of our pieces are like that. And I'm going to grab my bone folder once again to make sure this is nice and flat. But you can see because I have them glued on either side, it kind of makes a closure to hold that together. And then when you open it, you can just, put it back together like that. So this is going to go in the center here like this, and we're going to make it a big giant pocket. So when I glue this on, which I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to glue these three edges so that we have a big pocket in the back that we could put a tag or something like that. Make sure I got enough glue down at the bottom there. Okay, and I'm going to put it close to the bottom and try to center it pretty well. Obviously, you want to be careful that you don't put your middle piece on your folds because you want your little flip book here to fold. And I'm pressing it down a little bit. Okay, and so now we have our center. So now we have our base pretty much going. So now we're going to start adding some of our additional pockets and pieces, and then we'll do some decorating at the end. So the first thing I want to do is I want to, actually let's start from the inside here. So on the inside here, I wanted to add a little pocket. Let me find my papers. So the subscription box had all these little papers in it, and I thought they were so much fun. And so we can decide, maybe what we're going to use. We're going to use some of these vellum pieces for pockets as well. But I thought on the inside, I would use one of the pieces that was just solid paper, because then it, covers up some of this inside decoration there. You can see it a little bit better. So I'm just going to decide kind of what I want to do for that. There's so many cute little pieces here. Let's just see what we got. Maybe I will use this one as our little pocket in here. I'll save those maybe for something else. And you can see my the page is a little bit bigger than I need it to be. So I am going to just cut it down a little bit so that it matches the inside here. And then you also need to decide how wide you want it to be. Do you have enough room, you know, over here or wherever, if you decide to go on either side? Maybe we'll put it on this side, actually. That would be fun. Do you have enough room to slide something in? So I'm just, for example, I'm just going to grab something here and just make sure, you know, do I have enough room when this is open to slide something in? And I think I do. And this is probably something we're going to want sticking out a little bit so that you can tell that there's something in there. So the width I think is okay. We're just going to cut down the height a little bit to make it fit our little gatefold insert here. And then I'm going to grab my glue and we're just going to do a 3-sided pocket again, but it's going to be a side pocket, not a up and down, not a top pocket. And then I'm going to make sure I'm not on the fold again and put that in there. We'll give that a minute to dry. Okay, so now we have an inside pocket right there. I love that. All right, let's keep going. So now what I want to do is I want to add a couple more pockets, and I thought it would be fun to do some vellum pockets on here. So let's go. So when this is folded, so this is kind of gonna go like this. Actually, we need to put our closure on here too. So what I did for a closure, what I think would be fun for a closure, is taking a piece of, once again, these little cardboard pieces because they're heavy duty and I like that, and finding one that fits nicely on the front. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a brad. So I just grabbed these little gold brads that I had. And I'm also going to grab my paper piercer just so that I have a better way of marking the hole that I want. And I'm going to put mine towards the top because as I'm thinking this, we're going to have the brad here holding it together, but then you can slide this piece over like this to let it, you know, open up. But then when you slide it back down, this piece becomes kind of a decoration on, you know, your open side right here. So let me close it up again so we can kind of judge where we want to have our brad. I want to make sure that I have it pretty close to the edge because I know that this size almost just fits this. And then also, what else do I want to look for? Actually, I'm going to pull this open just to make sure I have it far enough over towards the edge, which I think I do. Okay, and then I'm just going to choose where to put the brad. So I don't want the brad to go past this line because then obviously we won't be able to turn it to let it flip. So you want your brad to kind of go on an outer edge somewhere. You probably could do it down here to kind of let it turn that way if you wanted to. That would work just as well, I believe. Or you could put it up here is what I was thinking. So either one, you know, you can decide how you want to do that. You just need to be thoughtful though, because we are going to be putting it through here and we've already glued our pockets. You want to be sure we're not putting that too low, your brad too low, that you'd have to, you know, open up that pocket again. So just beware of that. So I'm going to use this upper corner, and what I'm going to do to mark it, just to make it easier, is I'm going to use this paper piercer, but I'm only going to make a very gentle mark here where I want it. So I'm just going to kind of put it right there so I can kind of see where it went here and I can see where it went here. So I'm going to just make a teeny little hole in that so I know where my brad goes there. And before I punch this hole, I want to be sure I open up my flap so I don't punch through that as well. So once again, I'm just making a little hole in that there so that I can put my brad through, or I know where my brad is supposed to go. So let's go ahead and get one of these out of here. Okay, and define my piece that I started with. So we'll put that in there and add that there. And then when I do this, let's see. I'm just gonna kind of push those down like that. Now we can cover that up, which I think I'm going to do. You don't have to cover that up, but I thought these little stamp stickers would be perfect to kind of cover that up a little bit. So I'm going to see if I can get the paper off here. You could also cover it like with a, you know, piece of cardboard, or piece of cardstock is what I meant to say. And I'm going to kind of put it really close to this edge. It might go over the fold. Actually, I don't think I want it to go over the fold. So I'm going to push this down. And I may even need to add some glue because the brad, actually maybe not. The brad is right on the edge of this sticker. So I want to be sure it kind of stays down here. So I might have to do some pressing down there and maybe even add some glue because the brad kind of pushes that up a little bit, but I think that'll be good. And so that it's nice and covered up, which I like. All right, so now you can see that this is how our closure is going to work. And isn't that adorable? I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so now let's open this up a little and we'll add our other pockets that we are going to do. I want to do a pocket over here, and I thought this would be fun to do some vellum here. And now this one will be seen on the front. So I want to choose something. Let's see if I have all my vellum pieces out here to choose from. My little Nomi there. I think that's it. Okay. So I can decide what I want to be on the front. So I'm thinking about, you know, as we have this closed, my closure is going to be showing a little bit, or actually my closure is going to be showing a lot. And so I'm just trying to think what would look nice, you know, with this right there. So we could do something with the roses. Actually, that might be nice for the front, because we're also going to be adding in, you know, some paper there. And I think I'm going to have to cut this down. So I might have to cut off some of that rose. So we have to decide if that's what we want to do here. We could put Mr. Snail on there. That's cute too. And actually I might do that because then I won't cut off as much of the decoration, because the snail's really the thing that I want here. And the other thing is these are kind of two-sided, which I think is cool too. So let's see. Yeah, I didn't like that one. Let me see if this one. All right, let's go with Mr. Snail. But what I'm going to do, this is too close to the edge, so I'm going to need to cut off some of that. So I really want this pocket to only be about that big. Okay, so I am going to have to cut off a little bit on this side and then a little bit at the top, you can see here. All right, so let me grab my cutter again. Okay. So now this pocket should be good. Yes. Now vellum takes a little bit longer to grab, so I may have to just kind of hold my fingers on here for a minute to be sure that everything grabs and stays put. But I do like that. I think that's going to look really cute. All right, so while we're waiting for that to dry, I'm going to open it up and hopefully that will help it dry maybe a little bit. And we're going to add another vellum pocket over here. So now we can decide, or Mr. Nomi might be cute here. Yeah, I like that, I think. Once again, I got to cut this down a little bit. So I'm just going to mark where we need to cut on both sides. So we're going to have a little pocket right here. too. Did I cut that wrong? Oh, I forgot to mark the top. I'm like, what's going on there? Okay, so this will be here. And we'll cut that off too. And then since this one edge is rounded down here, I am going to round that edge so that they match as well, just like that. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here. Now, make sure I hold my open edge. And then I glue the other 3 edges. That's usually how I try to remember which edge I'm actually gluing together. Okay. And once again, we'll give this a second to dry. I don't think I want to fold it over on itself though. All right, now for the fun part, we're going to do some decorating. I took one of those cardboard pieces and just added it to some cardstock there. I just added some glue to a cardstock to kind of make a decoration for that flap. So I'm just measuring it out to make sure it fits, and then I'm going to go around and round all the corners like I've been trying to do with everything else. All right, I took another piece of the cardboard there, the shovel, and I thought it would look good on the pocket itself. And I wanted to have a little bit of the edge kind of hanging over above the pocket. So I thought that would look fun. And that's why I glued it down, just gluing the shovel part and the handle part. And I left most of the rows there just kind of hanging over the edge of the pocket. Now I'm grabbing my acrylic block and some of the clear stamps that were in the subscription box, and I'm adding them to the acrylic block. So I decided to use all the tools all lined up and make a nice little stamp up on the top of the flap of this. And you'll also notice after I kind of get everything done here that it doesn't quite stamp right, and I took most of the tools off that did stamp okay and went back in and got that one stamp redone, and I think it turned out okay. Now I'm just finishing up. There were a couple of tools that I didn't stamp down, so I kind of wanted to get them all on there to sort of go all the way across the flap. And then after I take all the tools off here, I'm going to add some of the words that were in the stamp set to the flap as well. So I'm putting in Happy Gardening Time, and I will stamp that kind of in the upper right-hand corner. And I decided to use one more stamp, the glove stamp there, and I was putting it on my acrylic block and getting ready to stamp it, but I wanted to open everything up to make my pocket be sort of as flat as I could, so I didn't run into that problem where my stamp didn't go all the way down there. So now this pocket, I think, is pretty well decorated and ready for a note card. And as I was looking over the flip book, I just took some other places that I thought could use maybe some stamping or something like that, and went ahead and did that. I also decided to change it up since I wasn't on the red or the brown background, that I would use my sepia colored archival ink this time instead of the black, because I thought that would show it better and it might match the little paper that I have on the inside better as well. So I'm just adding the little watering jug and a little hat to the inside here to add a little more interest and decoration. After I added some stickers on the inside there, I wanted to add something to that left pocket. So I took the little piece of paper, the paper ephemera that had flower library on it, and it looked like a little ticket or something at the bottom, and I decided to put that on this pocket. So I cut it in half because it was too big to fit on the flap by itself, and I added the top portion to the flap, and then I took the bottom portion and added it to the pocket itself. And then I also went back in with some more stickers, just because that bottom portion was a little bit bland, I guess. It needed a little more decoration, so I just added a little sticker to that as well. And then I decided to pick up one of the wood blocks that was in the subscription box. And this one is the one that I think is a like a wheelbarrow with a bunch of things in it there. And I also used my sepia colored archival ink to stamp that up on the top. And I really like the way that kind of looks as part of the flap. Then I need something for the right side inside flap. And I was trying to decide what to use there. And as I picked up that first cardboard piece, I decided that it looked better on the pocket and not up top. So once again, I was gluing it down, leaving a portion of it above the pocket for interest there. So I just glued a little bit up on the arms of that hose wheelie thing. I don't even know what you call that. And then glued it down to the pocket there so that part of it was sticking up above. And then I decided to add one of the sticker stamps that came in the box to the left-hand side to add a little bit more to that pocket there. And now we go back to the flap. I'm trying to flip through and see what might be fun here. So I was trying to look through all the little paper ephemera pieces that were in the kit, deciding between the two there. And I did go with the label that just has some lines on it there that you could add some wording to or some stamping to. And just because I couldn't stop myself, I went back to those little cardboard pieces and found something that would be fun on there as well. So I added the little trowel with a rose right on there as well to the flap. And then I decided to add in one more little piece of paper ephemera to that front flap because I thought that would look nice once it was open, to kind of have something on the bottom there to go with the watering can at the top. All right, now we're moving on to some of the things to go in all of our pockets. So I just grabbed a piece of leftover green paper that I had from cutting down our gatefold piece, and I'm cutting it down to fit inside the little vellum pocket that I have there. I'm going to add another little cardboard piece to that and some stamping on the bottom. And then I'm also going to punch a 1-inch circle to kind of go on the side as a tab pull so you can see it to be pulled out there, and then that will go in that front pocket right there. I grabbed the roll of washi tape that you could tear apart as stamps. And there were lots of flowers and perfume bottles and things like that on these. They were really cute, but I really had a hard time getting them off. So they seemed to tear a lot. The edges were kind of hard to get off, and so they kept tearing on me. So I did finally get one mostly together that I decided to put kind of on the top of this pocket, but you can kind of tell that it was not all together. So, you know, you kind of like a torn look sometimes, but I will say that that roll was a little bit frustrating. So you can see now we have our tag in the front pocket, and I like how that looks together with everything else. And so now I'm going to work on some other things in some of these other pockets. So I just grabbed a piece of coordinating cardstock that I kind of had in my scrap pile there. And it was just a plain piece of paper, plain piece of cardstock. And I decided to mount one of the pieces of paper ephemera on top of that to make a little note card. So I'm just going to cut it down and mount it on that back piece so that it'll be a nice little piece of ephemera right in that back pocket. And now I want to work on this little inside vellum pocket here. And once again, I'm grabbing just a scrap piece of plain cardstock to kind of have a base for the little tag that I want to make for this. I'm going to round the corners, since I realized I had forgotten to do that in the note card in the back. And now I'm just looking for what might go on this piece. So I kind of decided to use this piece of paper ephemera there, but I needed to cut it down a little bit. After looking around a little bit, I decided a sticker would be fun on the bottom of that one. I am gluing on my little 1-inch punch that I made for a side tab for this tag as well. And so after that's glued on, I'm just going to set it aside to dry for a little bit. And then for some of these other pockets, I just decided to use pieces of the ephemera that were included in the subscription box as pieces to go in there. So I cut that piece down and rounded the edges so that it fit on that right side pocket. And I was looking for something to maybe add to the front flap, but as I was looking through, it just was becoming too busy. So I decided that it would be better to have nothing on the front there. And then I made another little note card for our inside pocket, mounting it on a piece of cardstock again with some of the paper backgrounds and one of the pieces of cardboard.
I also went back and decided to round the edges of that back note card that I had forgotten to do before. And then once my little note card was dry, I just tucked it right into the inside piece there. All right, friends, it's all done. And you can see I made a second one, and I just rotated the paper in the counterclockwise direction instead of clockwise, and you can have your opening on the other side if you want to. So this one was sort of my test version, and I love the way that one turned out too. This one has all the same pockets and everything in it, so these were really fun to make. This is the one we did on video, and I think I like this one even better than the first one that we did. I love all the little tags that we have slipped in here with bits and pieces from the subscription box on here, the stamping, the cardboard pieces, the stamps, and everything. So I hope you enjoyed making these little fun flip books, and I hope you liked this video. If you did, I'd love it if you'd give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video, friends. Take care. Bye-bye.